What's up guys, ATCZ here, welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day. Today we're profiling Necroz. We have the Brionac back to 3, it topped, it didn't top but it made it really well in the UDS, 90th place. I think the deck has a lot of potential against Salamangreats. It's a deck that can go first or second, and there are some really cool things you can do with the deck, like if you tweak it a little bit, and I'll show you some of them with this build. So let's start. 3 Brio, fresh off the ban list. You just needed 3 Brionac for the deck to work really well. Its second effects are really relevant right now because you can bounce back your opponent's Bellings and Stalio, so they won't be able to protect them with the Bellings from the grave, so you cannot decay. So it's a really good card, in both ways right now. Trish, you play 2 because when you summon one, you want to search the other one to stop impermanence, Veiler, stuff like that. And it's also really cool to search one if you have Unicorn on the field, because the Salamangreat's only out to Unicorn is sending Stalio to the grave for a link summon to send it back to your hand. So if you Trish the effect of Stalio, then your opponent will be able to play. 2 Valk, not 3, because you search it when you need it. It doesn't have a lot of synergy with Extravagance, because if you start with Extravagance, then you summon this, you won't be able to use its effect to draw. So you just need it as a Battle Fader, and this deck cannot lose in time with Valkyries. Too close. You search your spells, you can search it in any way, it's really good, and its field effect is actually really good. Unicorn, this card insta win against Salamangreats and Sky Strikers, because if you can protect from targeting, then your opponent you won't be able to recycle any resources, and you won't be able to do some really good pushes. Play the new incantation, the Chalice Slime. You want to keep this. You want to always keep this in your hand, and each turn keep discarding another card to search for a ritual monster. So it's constant advantage each turn, get whatever you need. I play 1 Ben 10 because you can search it, and if you tribute her to some Brionac, you search your Christia. And if you have your incantations, then you can just tribute summon your Christia, and this locks out some decks from playing. And 1 Sauravis. This is a card that makes the Zaborg play a lot more consistent, and I will show you why after the deck profile. But it makes sure that Zaborg goes through. So, and Zaborg is like an auto win against Salamangreats, banishing 8 cards from their extra deck. That they can't do anything about that. Now for the Necroz non-ritual monsters, play Ariel, Dance Princess, and Shrit. These 2 I think are mandatory because Dance Princess, it's really good as a normal summon as well, because they won't be able to negate your withdraw your ritual spells, they won't be able to target your ritual monsters. Shrit, now it's back, you have to run it. I think Ariel is a really underrated card. First of all, when she's tributed, you can search for any of these 2, so she's a plus when you ritual summon or with tribute summon with you tribute for Valkyries to draw cards. She can also manipulate her level. So if your hand is awkward and you need some specific level in order to be able to ritual summon, you can summon her and reveal Necroz cards to increase her level. So she has a lot of uses, and you can summon Brionac with 1 card with this if you reveal 2 cards. So I think she's a card you need to have in Necroz. I really like it. 3 Zaborg. This is a win button of the deck. Yeah, it's not searchable, but it's a power card, so you have to run 3 and you can summon it very easily with incantations. 1 Christia, she's searchable through Benton, which Benton is searchable through 10 ways, so you can tribute summon her by using the incantation as tribute fodder, and you lock your opponents out of the game. And for the incantations, you have to run a lot. You play 2 of each. You have to run 8 because you need to see 1 in order to be able to tribute summon your Zaborg or your Christia, otherwise they'll be dead if they're stuck in your hand. And for spells, play 3 Prep. This searches your Benton as well, so it's very easy to search Christia and summon her. So it's really good, and it gives you advantage from the grave as well. For the ritual spells, play 2 Kaleido, 2 Cycle, 1 Mirror. That's the best ratio, I think. Mirror is a card that you want to use when you're about to go for a game. This is the starter. This gets you your Brionac back from the graveyard when you tribute your Benton from the hand, so you can get the resources back and search your Christia and bounce your opponent's extra deck monsters back. Rhoda to search your Shrit and your Closelas, and 3 Extravagance. It doesn't have a lot of synergy with Zaborg, but you don't need to send specific monsters with Zaborg. You just need to destroy your opponent's extra deck, and that's how you win. So that's pretty much what you want to do with Extravagance, get a lot of resources. For the extra deck, play 3 Herald, because you can send all 3 of them with Zaborg, along with 3 Totally Awesome. So you can get your Nekroz back from the graveyard, and you also send Omega, because Omega will give you back your Herald to the extra deck, and then you can Kaleidoscope Herald, summon Unicorn, and get another search. So that's pretty much 7 mandatory you send, and 1 more with Zaborg, so you send a total of 8, and you destroy your opponent's extra deck. Then some levels for Kaleidoscope. It's boarded around a 3 because Brionag, like I said, his first effect is actually very important right now. So you need to be able to summon with Kaleidoscope in case you don't have a very optimal hand. 9, again, Brionag and Clausulas. 10 for Unicorn Brionag. 11 for Valkyrus and Clausulas. And 12 for Unicorn and Valkyrus. And you can summon Trishula at 12. So we have Borosword, Summon Sorceress, and Phoenix. These two are generic. There's a cool interaction with Summon Sorceress. You can give your opponent an incantation from your hand and lock them out of the extra deck. So that's something I haven't seen in a Necroz deck, but it's a cool play that the Necroz deck can do. It has a lot of win conditions that if you resolve any one of them against like the relevant decks, then it's pretty much an instant win. And I will show you why running Sauravis is very important. The only outs they have to Zaborg is Impermanence and Veiler. They cannot ask this, and they cannot do anything else. Like people run DD Crow or stuff like that. Drawn Lockbird doesn't hurt, because you don't need to search with Zaborg, you just need to destroy your opponent's extra deck. So if you open with any incantation other than Talismandra, because Talismandra is the one you want to summon from the deck to search a monster, so you can summon it and get your Talismandra, and now you can search your Sauravis. And this is to ensure that when you tribute summon Zaborg, if your opponent tries to Impermanence or Veiler, you can negate it with Sauravis. And it's also a good card to search if you have Unicorn on the field, so you can prevent like Widow Anchors, Afterburners and stuff. So it's very important to have this option to make sure Zaborg goes through and destroy your opponent's extra deck. And you can also do the play, if you don't draw Zaborg, you can also do the play that you don't need to hard draw. Like Christia is a good card to add with Benten, so you can tribute summon her. So if you open any kind of incantation, and you can get a Brionac, and you can also get the Brionac and the Benten, which is very, very easy to get. So you just need to open like a Brio and incantation, you summon this, and you summon again Talismandra. So you search your Benten, and you discard Brio. Get Clausulas. You discard Clausulas to get your cycle. And now you cycle tributing the Benten to bring back Brionac from the graveyard. And since you tributed Benten, when she's tributed, you can search for a Light Fairy. So you search the Christia, and you don't have to use your effect, just tribute the two incantations and tribute summon her. That's pretty much like what's your opponent going to do if they play Solomon Greats, they don't have an out in the main deck, or if they play like some kind of any kind of special summon deck. Like it's not very good against decks like Scepter or Sky Strikers. Danger Thunder Dragons, they don't have an out to this. The only spell they have is Light of Sekka, so they can't do anything about it. So that's a pretty interesting interaction as well. And this is the reason you just need 1/1, because Zaborg can be dead if you don't have any incantations in your hand. But these cards, like, you don't have to run 3 because they're both searchable. So you can search them if you have the incantations. Otherwise, you don't really need them. I also, I've been testing Renewal of the World. I'm not running in this build, but I think Renewal is a very good card because it unbricks your hands. And if your hand is very optimal, you can also use Trishula during your opponent's turn. Renewal of the World banishes a ritual monster from your deck. And in a new chain, you can also tribute one monster and ritual summon that monster. So you can also ritual summon Trishula using one level 9 monster with like two Trishulas. You search one, you banish one, you ritual summon during your opponent's turn. That's really good because you can banish during your opponent's turn. Also, with a new support like coming in Dark Neostorm, we will have to try out the incantation ritual spell, because if you summon the big incantation that can negate the effects of your incantations, you can make like really good link plays. So maybe the extra deck will be revisited as well, because when you have like 4 monsters and their effects are negated, so you can't summon from the extra deck, then maybe you can go to Borlord or Borosaur and give the deck even more options. And I'm pretty sure Konami is going to bring Unicorn back to 3. Because like they want to promote dual power, so I think it's the time to bring this deck some more power. And it's a very good meta call. It's a deck that can go first or second very easily. Its only bad matchup is Thunder Dragons. If they stay like how they are, yeah, that's a deck that you can't do much, especially going second, because your 90% of the deck searches. But it's fine because the majority of the meta is Solomon Greats, so it has the best matchup against Solomon Greats. Pretty much very difficult to lose against Solomon Greats playing Necroz. So yeah, I think it's a great meta call and a really fun deck to play.